If there's a movie, he's gonna rate it. He's gonna talk to his friends and they'll debate it. He's gonna try his best to not be a hater. His name is Billy the Movie Grader.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Movie Grader and Friends podcast, your weekly or semi-weekly podcast talking about all of the latest movies in the theaters. I am Billy the Movie Grader, and in this episode, I'm joined once again by my good friend Shoshana. Say hello, Shoshana.
Hello.
In this episode, Shoshana and I will be discussing the latest Addams Family movie, then briefly talk about Judy, the Judy Garland movie, and Will Smith's latest Gemini Man. The Addams Family was released on October 11th, and it is directed by Greg Tiernan and Conrad Vernon. Instead of the recent live-action Addams Family movies, the latest movie is wonderfully animated, and it sports a wonderful cast of characters who lend their vocal talents. All right, Shoshana, what do you think? Thoughts on the movie?
I was actually really entertained. I was surprised, and I thought it was really funny. There were some adult jokes,
Yes.
but that will go past towards the kids, and then there's kid jokes, which I still thought it was funny.
They worked.
Yeah, it totally worked, and it was just it wasn't dragged. They moved the plot right along, and actually I felt like the plot wasn't like thin. It was like there was multiple plots. Like you have Wednesday, and then you have Pugsley, and then you have the parents dealing with how to raise their kids. So, but it all worked out together. Like they all worked together.
It was a nice slice of life with the Addams Family, basically.
Exactly. And man, those Addams are awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, like as far as like the adult jokes, one of my favorite ones that had me laughing the hardest was Thing looking at the foot pictures on his computer.
Yeah.
And when he gets caught,
that was great. That was great. And he was on the laptop, and oh my god.
Yeah. It was, I guess, the equivalent of his porn, and it was just.
But it was just funny because also like they just showed the foot, and you're just like, what? Like you're just like, what is going on? And then you're like,
That was so well done, and of course that flies over kids' heads. They have no idea.
Exactly. I thought that was really good. And then my other favorite part was with the red balloon. And
yes.
Yeah, and Mortish was like, oh, I heard about this red balloon. There's always a scary, crazy clown that's killing children.
At the end of it, yeah.
Which goes to our previous podcast, the other of it, chapter 2. So I thought that was really clever too. So.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. They did such a good job with the adult jokes. It was great.
They definitely did. And then I thought the voice of Bette Midler as Gomez's mother was great too.
Oh yes, yeah, she was so good. She was so good.
she was really hilarious, and the way they did the animation, not just her but all of them, was really like I thought it was really good. It was very detailed, and like because each one has their own characteristic of how they are. Like with Wednesday, I don't know if you noticed her hair, her braids were like
they were like nooses.
Yeah, her braids.
Really?
Like usually she'll just have regular braids, but this one they did it differently. They did her braids like nooses.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's like the little details, which I thought was like, I was like, this is great.
I mean, what I thought was cool is for like the detail was like Morticia's dress. She's like pencil thin, and like she has like, I guess it would be like octopus type of like tentacles, like that kind of move her along. Like, so I'm not sure if she even has feet.
It was really interesting because I was watching how she was walk. I'm like, that's
she just kind of floats.
Way.
She just kind of floats over everything, and like the tentacles kind of crawled up like the steps. I guess.
I thought that was really. But I thought that was really cool. Like it was really cool.
It's a good look for her.
Yeah, and of course, Charlize Theron did the voice of, and she did a great job.
So. Oh yeah. Well, she's always good in everything. She's a goddess.
Yeah. Well, she always puts her like 110% into her role. So.
And Allison Janney's character was great too. I mean, she was perfect for that. Being the villain. I guess hopefully it's not a spoiler. Oh well.
No, they always show who's the villain. But I also like how they did her character, Allison Janney's hair. Also, I don't mean to talk about hair, but that hairdo wow,
Yeah.
like it
Yeah,
kind
with
of
like
reminds me of like a cowboy hat. Like it was
yeah,
just,
it was huge.
it was really,
It had the big like poof in the front of it, and she was like totally like one of those. It reminded me of like something out of like Jersey Shore.
because they're obsessed with the hair. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
big hair and completely into themselves, very narcissistic, and she wanted to be in control, and everything was about her appearance, and she was a phony and a fraud, and
well, that's what that's remember they said they moved to Jersey,
yep,
so
that was funny too.
that was funny how they decide where they want to live.
Yeah, with like something awful, and then like they showed Welcome to New Jersey. That was
Right. Yeah, and in the movie theater I was with, like, as soon as they showed that sign, everyone started cracking up.
oh yeah,
Like
it was
the kids and adults.
the timing worked on all accounts, for the comedy. All the jokes landed perfectly. Everything just worked in the movie for me.
Yeah,
It really hit the mark.
it did. It did. I was very entertained, and I was really I enjoyed it up until the very end. I really enjoyed it. So
And like another thing I'm glad they kept was, I remember in the live action movies they kept on putting the children into dangerous situations. Like
yeah,
doesn't like Pugsley get a sword thrown at him in the live action movie?
I think so.
They were always in like dangerous, situations that could end up deadly, but it's just like any other day for them though in the lives of the
That's
Addams
the
family.
Addams. That's a everyday. Yeah, exactly. It's the Addams. That's their everyday, situation.
Most people don't know this. I didn't know this. I read this, but it actually started as a comic in the New Yorker magazine
Yep.
in like
Yep.
1938 was
Yep.
and like this movie was kind of a throwback to the original comic, apparently.
Yes.
Never
Yes.
read it, but that was cool. I did enjoy that. It was very similar to the live action movies too, though. I mean, everybody had the same personality. It was the same kooky family that everybody loves growing up as a kid. I remember I watched the TV show, the black and white TV show, years ago when I was a kid. It was always on, like, I think it was on during the week, so I would catch it when I was home from school or something, and
Yeah, ditto.
juxtaposed between, like, I don't know, Price is Right and, I don't know, Baywatch. Who knows?
I think it was also sometimes on Nick at Night.
Oh, Nick at Night.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you remember those, but it was like late at night. Sometimes they would show
Yeah.
old, black and white. They would show Black and White Zorro.
Mr. Ed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mr. Ed. And I think then they
Yeah.
also showed this. So those
Yeah.
were the days.
I never had cable until like 2007, so I missed out on Nick at Night unless I was with my grandma up north in Chico. She had cable, and oh god, the amount of hours I spent watching Nickelodeon, I don't even want to say.
So no comment on that part. Got it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say I watched every episode of Hey Dude.
Nice. Oh yeah, I spent many hours at watching Nickelodeon. I mean, back then the 90s. I mean, not to get trailed off, but then the 90s I thought was amazing. So.
Oh yeah, especially with their cartoon lineup. I mean,
Oh yeah.
and Doug. I mean, those are the classics, man.
Yeah, Rocko's Modern Life, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, but it's so hard to beat those. I mean, I don't know what the kids watch these days. God, it sounds weird to say that, but
but I think that's why we enjoyed it, because it kind of reminds me of our childhood. That's why I think we enjoyed it.
Totally. Yeah, the movie completely nailed the nostalgia factor of it. It was the Addams Family, reborn for a new generation that also appeases to the older generation that remembers the old TV shows.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I really I know it was a small part, but it was like a Snoop Dogg voice of
Yes.
Yeah, I like how they introduced him they introduce him with the car and it says "cuz."
Yeah. That was so perfect. That was so Snoop Dogg, and it was just I was just mad that, like, beyond that, you would never know Cousin It is voiced by Snoop Dogg. That's the only thing. It's like he just like speaks gibberish. I couldn't make out a word he was saying. it was kind of wasted. I wish it's like it's of course like Cousin It never speaks a word, so they did it right. But like I was like, oh man, because like I'm a fan of Snoop Dogg. I like his stuff, so I'm not gonna lie. So it's like the way he talks is just so funny to me. And like when I saw that he was doing the movie, I was like, oh, this is so awesome. But then I realized, wait, Cousin Nate doesn't even talk really. He just makes noises.
You know what I think? Because I was trying to pay attention. It is his voice, but it sounds like he was talking, and then they like kind of did a remix and reversed his voice. Yeah, and then they kind of that's why I kind of chuckled. I'm like, that's kind of actually clever. I mean, yeah, it was very limited of Snoop Dogg. You wouldn't notice it was him, but it was kind of cool how they kind of revamped his voice, where it's Cousin A, where you can't even make out a sound.
Yeah,
of what he's saying.
Yeah, they obviously they changed it too. I mean, it was kind of like similar to in Guardians of the Galaxy where Vin Diesel voices Groot.
Yes.
You have no idea.
I had no idea that was Vin Diesel until I had to read he was the voice of Groot.
Right. It's like anybody could have done Groot's voice, and they just picked him, and they changed it, I guess, via a computer. Who knows? But it kind of reminded me of that. It's like, oh, they got some big name actor here, or artist, and Snoop Dogg, but you're not going to know it's Snoop Dogg.
Well, at least they played his music in the background.
Yeah, but I loved that intro though. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
That was a really good intro. Like that was really people were actually cracking up when they.
Oh yeah.
As soon as they had the intro of Snoop Dogg.
It was so perfect because it's like who doesn't love Snoop Dogg? I mean, come on. It's like of course he's a gangster and stuff, but he does good stuff for the kids, and he hangs out with Martha Stewart.
No, he does. No, he's an artist. He is definitely an artist, and definitely check out his interviews. They're really good.
Absolutely.
He's an artist.
Absolutely.
So Billy, what do you rate this?
I gave it what did I get? I gave it a B-. I mean, only reason being that I thought it was a little too short. I wanted more.
That's good though.
But I enjoyed it so much though. I mean, I had a good time with it. It was just like, B- only being it's so short. I loved like the whole assimilation town. I thought that was adorable. Yeah. And I also loved the Uncle Fester character played by Nick Kroll, who kind of did like this very similar voice of Coach Steve from
Big Mouth. Big Mouth.
Yes.
I love that show.
It's so good, but so inappropriate.
Yeah, that is okay. So Addams Family is a kids movie. Big Mouth is not a kids.
Not a kids show.
It may look like animation, even though it's animation. It's not a kids show.
Definitely not a kids show.
That's your, if people are listening, that is not for kids.
If you're an adult, you should watch it. Go ahead and turn off my podcast right now and go watch Big Mouth.
Go on Netflix or get the 30-day, trials just to watch Big Mouth, because that is a great show.
Oh, it's one of my favorites on Netflix. I can't get enough. I think I burned the latest season in I think a day and a half or something.
Because you're like, I gotta watch one more.
It's so good. It's so good and so well done and so well written and so inappropriate, but you can't take your eyes off of it.
Actually, you know what? If you think about it, it's really informative.
It is.
It's actually in a weird way, but it's. but I give Addams Family. I actually give it an A.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I know it was short, but you have to remember this is towards kids,
and
kids can't sit still for 2.5 hours or 2 hours long. So totally. I think that's why they made it short. So.
Totally. I understood why. I mean, of course, all kids movies are generally short. It was fine. It worked for me. Over the week too, I also got to see Judy and Gemini Man, and one was good, the other not so much. So it's did you see any of those, Shoshana, or no?
So, I definitely want to see Judy. I saw the trailer and I thought it was amazing. The trailer was amazing. She looked like Judy Garland, and I'm a huge fan of Judy. I have her record. of
Oh, wow.
Judy Garland. Yeah, and I have some of her movies, and I definitely want to see that. I definitely want to see that. Gemini, I think I'll wait until it's on cable.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Judy was phenomenal. I mean, they should just give Renee Zellweger the Oscar now. It's a lock. She looks like Judy Garland. She talks like Judy Garland. She even sings and sounds like Judy
Oh, that's
Garland.
so good. That's so
Oh,
good.
I don't know much about Judy Garland, honestly, other than her main role in The Wizard of Oz. But after seeing the movie, it was I learned a lot, and it was very good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's depressing as hell, but because she didn't have an easy life whatsoever,
Yeah.
it was a hard life that she lived. But it's important that people know about her life. She was a Hollywood icon, and
Yes.
the movie's not to be missed.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it. And she was like, I always saw her like as a starlet, and her mom, sadly her mom was a stage mom, and
Uh-huh.
and her dad, passed away when she was young, and she was really close with her dad. So
Yeah.
I think from Judy, from when she was born till, when she passed away, she had a really hard life, but she was
Yeah.
just a gem. She was like a diamond in a rough. She was
And
just
she
a,
her life was cut short too, due to
yeah.
alcoholism, and I guess she got into some pills basically, and oh God, she lived a very short life, unfortunately. But
Yeah, but I'm so, I'm glad people are, we have, it's sad she's, passed away, but it's also great that we still have her movies and her music to still remember her
oh
by.
yeah,
So
I mean, towards the end of the movie, you'll hear "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," of course, and I guarantee you'll be crying to it
I probably will.
once you hear. I
Cause,
was crying. I mean,
oh,
I'll never forget years ago when I was young. My dad took me to the MGM studios. I believe it was MGM, wherever they shot The Wizard of Oz back then. And like the guy was taking us on a tour, and he stopped, and like we were in the middle of, I think it was a parking lot or something, and he
hmm
said, "You're on the Yellow Brick Road." I'm like, "What? This is a parking lot." It's like, no, this is where the Yellow Brick Road was when it was when there was a
wow,
sound stage here. So I have
that's
been on the
magical.
Yellow Brick Road. I'll never forget that.
That's magical though. That's awesome because
Yeah,
history was made there.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a cool moment. But yeah, Judy, oh my God, R.I.P.
Okay,
And
what about
anyway,
Gemini? I'm
uh,
curious.
excuse me, I have to barf for a second. Okay, okay. Gemini Man.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear your opinion.
Well, okay. I did go see it in that 3D plus HFR, which is like high frame rate. I
Yeah,
think
how was
I
that?
I think it was like 5 times the normal frame rate for a movie, and
Wow.
honestly, that was pretty mind blowing. I mean, like
That's
it,
yeah.
everything was like clear and smooth, and it really felt that you were just like on set with Will Smith and his CGI counterpart.
That's crazy.
It was crazy and a little creepy, but like
Yeah.
it's so hard to describe because it looks so real, and
Wow.
the fact that it was in 3D like only added to the illusion. They had some beautiful underwater scenes in it, and like the bubbles, like they were so crystal clear. It felt as if it was like right in front of you.
That's crazy.
It
That's crazy.
was it was quite the amazing experience. You do have to go see it. Unfortunately, the technology is bundled with a piece of shit movie, so.
So technology wise, amazing, but
Yes.
movie wise, not so great.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Oh,
like,
that's not a good combination.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's a bummer kind of.
yeah, the cinematography was beyond good. I mean, that was like it deserves it actually does deserve an Academy Award for cinematography. I would give it that because it was just
Yeah.
so well done. But like the script was garbage, and it was just like this movie's just not good. I can't recommend it. I gave it
It just kind of reminds me a little like when I was reading the description, it kind of reminds me of Looper.
Yeah, I never saw Looper. I mean, like
That was a great movie.
yeah, like reading the plot. I mean, you would think it had a good story to it, but I mean, Ang Lee, the director, he directed everything but the story, basically, is what it felt like.
Yeah, it just felt like when I read the description, I'm like, I felt like I think I seen these type of, like, not think, but I know I see all these movies, type of, CIA agent or a CIA
Yeah.
agent or cop where they have to go back in time of themselves or they see themselves,
Right.
something with them, younger versions of themselves.
Yeah, it was just like this weird, like, convoluted story that was just like, this can't happen, it did get boring after a while, and, like, I mean, it wasn't as bad as, like, Ad Astra in terms of, like,
that's a slow burn, yeah, that's
garbage, but, like, it was I was checking my watch towards the end of it. I was like,
oh, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
If you're checking your watch during a movie,
yeah.
that's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's like, is this over yet? I mean, like, even like the way it just had so many problems. I mean, like, one, I'm not going to give anything away. Clive Owen is like, he's like the villain and the bad guy, and like the way they end his part in the movie, I guess you could say, was just so anticlimactic. It was just like, it was terrible.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer.
But if you are going to go see it, definitely see it in the 3D HFR technology if your theater has it. I know it's so new, it's barely in any theaters, but like it's even in like 3D plus HFR plus Dolby Cinema, which my theater doesn't even have. I think that's only in like 19 AMCs throughout the whole country. So if you're listening to it and you happen to have access to that, definitely go see it. But just be warned, the movie sucks. But
if you're just there for the cinematography, go see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a treat for the eyes, really. It's like it was beyond cool how cool they could make a movie look. The cinematography was just beautiful as well. I mean, technically it's amazing, but as far as the story wise goes,
all right.
You can play that Price is Right sound effect.
Oh, don't get me started with the prices, right?
Yeah. I don't have a soundboard yet, so sorry, that's what you got. But
no worries. We'll get there. We'll get there soon. But I definitely want to see Judy. I definitely want. Yeah. I think I'm a huge Judy Garland fan.
I mean, bottom line, only see Gemini Man if you have access to that technology. Otherwise, avoid it. And like, as far as like the two big movies opening up the week that you hear this, of October 18th, both happen to be sequels, actually. First up is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and it's directed by Joachim Roning. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, Joachim. And it stars Angelina Jolie. Per IMDb, Maleficent is about Maleficent and her goddaughter Aurora beginning to question the complex family ties that bind them as they are pulled in different directions by impending nuptials, unexpected allies, and dark new forces at play. I never saw the first one, but I might watch it to get caught up for the new movie, because that IMDb synopsis means absolutely nothing to me. Did you ever see the first one, Shoshana?
I did. I actually saw that in theaters, and I was actually entertained. And you have to definitely see the first one. If you're a Sleeping Beauty fan or just a Disney fan or fantasy, I definitely go see it. I actually was entertained. It had a lot of twists and turns, and the cinematography was great, plot was great, all the actors were great. Definitely see it. Recommend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a block. I never got around to it. I mean, like, of course, I would love to stare at Angelina Jolie for like 2 hours. I would have no problem with that. But I don't know why I don't know why I never saw the first one. I heard it was good, but it looked good.
It was good. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it this week, as well as I'll be watching Zombieland this week in preparation for Zombieland 2 Double Tap. This was directed by Ruben Fleischer, and it stars Zoe Deutsch. I don't know. Sorry, butchered that one too. Abigail Breslin, Emma Stone, and Woody Harrelson. 10 years after the first movie takes place, characters Columbus, Tallahassee, and Wichita go to America's heartland to face off against advanced zombies. Again, I never saw the first one, but I heard it was good. I guess I might get caught up for this as well.
Yeah, you definitely have to see the first one. Was hilarious. Woody Harrelson, kills it. I saw this. I actually did not see this in theater, but I saw it. I rented it, and I was just laughing from start to finish. I still watch it. It's just I still watch the movie. It's hilarious. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, no way, they're actually making us. I was so excited. So I definitely would see this. I would definitely. I mean, I'm a fan of the first one, so.
Okay, yeah.
And all the actors are in it, so I was so stoked that all the actors are going to be in the second one. So.
Yeah, anybody who's ever talked about Zombieland absolutely loves it.
Yes.
Again, I never had a block. I don't know why I haven't seen it, but looks like I'll be watching that one this week as well.
You have to. You have to.
I know. I've heard nothing but great things, but
Yes.
anyways, that will probably wrap it unless you got anything else, Shoshana.
No, that's it.
All right, so that will do it for this episode of the Movie Grader and Friends podcast. Next Tuesday, watch out for the podcast dealing with Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and Zombieland 2, Double Tap. Please find me on Instagram and Twitter at The Movie Grader, and visit my website, www.themoviegrader.com. On iTunes, please review and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done so already. Also, please tell your friends about the podcast. Thank you so much for your support, all you 5 listeners. The Movie Grader and Friends podcast is available on all major podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere you can get your podcasts. This has been the Movie Grader and Friends podcast. Thank you for your time. Please feel free to email me at themoviegrader@gmail.com with any comments or suggestions, and see you next Tuesday. Take care, guys.